And we're back on here. Let's see, we can turn the microphones on completely, because the last hour I messed up and didn't have my microphone on and started talking. Imagine that. Yes, the Gary Russen program back on the air here on GJRB Online, and let's take a look at our weather on the 5s for Clinton, Iowa. We're going to do that right now. Take a look at what we got coming up in Clinton, Iowa on our weather on the 5s. Very quickly, so we're going to pop into that weather people that I use, which is the fabulous people at Weather Underground, and take a look at what we got here. Why do I always, every time they go up on this thing, I always end up getting that stupid Kelvin station. I don't want that. I want the one up here on our north end. But for some reason, it doesn't want to stay there. I just don't know why, but it just does not want to stay there. I get like Kelvin station by default for some reason. So I'm going to pull that in there and go over and see if I can get into the other one, which is Mayor Farms. And the reason probably is because I am logged out, according to them. So that could be it too. Currently now, though, 86 degrees in Clinton, Iowa at this time. Feels like 87. So it's got to be really on the hot side here. Not too bad, really. I mean, it's hot, but not tolerable. Take a look at some, before we take a look at some of the Clinton temperatures, let's take a look at nationwide temperatures. Los Angeles, California, right now checking at 83 degrees under sunny skies. Cedar Rapids, Iowa, 88 degrees and sunny. Des Moines, Iowa, 91 and sunny. Over in Salem, Massachusetts, they're cooler, 76 degrees and mostly cloudy. Paducah, Kentucky at 89 degrees under sunny skies. Omaha, Nebraska, 92 with fair. And North Platte, Nebraska, checking in at 94 degrees. Once again, here in Clinton, Iowa, at the Eagle Point, Mayor Farms at Eagle Point Station. We got two of them, actually. Kelvin Station, which is reporting 88, which I can never understand how that could be. What's the difference? Anyway, Kelvin Station reporting 88. It's 86 degrees at the, according to the station over at Mayor Farms here at Eagle Point Park, which is not far from our Spreaker Studios. Where the temperature right now is at 86 degrees. Let's take a look at some of the other other conditions at this point. And this was updated as about 5 minutes ago. 86 degrees here in Clinton, Iowa. And waiting for that to come up. The barometric pressure right now standing at 29.90 inches of mercury. 10-mile visibility, 64 degrees. For 64 for dew point. Relative humidity 45%. Take a look at the UV index. It's high at 9. Moderate air quality is 77, and grass pollen is high. Right now, dry conditions will continue, but we have a 10% precipitation predicted for tonight. Mostly clear, low about 68 degrees, winds west-southwest, 5 to 10 miles per hour. 50% chance of precipitation tomorrow. Chance of thunderstorms. High 89. Winds west at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, 20% chance of precipitation. Partly cloudy. Low around 70. Winds light and variable. Current temperature once again in Clinton, 86 degrees at the GJRB Spreaker Studios. And of course, that's 86 degrees at Mayor Farms at the north end, here at the north end Eagle Point Station. 88 at the Kelvin Station. Weather on the 5s, 25 and 45 minutes past the hour on all music shows, 25 and 55 on all talk shows, or any time in the hour that ends in 5. The Gary Russen program right here on GJRB Online. All right, well, I'll tell you what, right now we're closing out this segment of the program. We're getting close to the end of GRP for today, our Friday, Freestyle Friday edition. It's about 30 minutes left to go on the show. And let's see, that'll give us some time to do some stuff that we usually do on this part of the program. And that includes giving you our Spreaker station shout-outs. We're going to do that. And a whole lot more here. Let's see. I'm going to go over to the where our music is. So why don't we go over to that recent places? That's usually where I find all this stuff. Okay, Jazz is. Okay, that's our theme song for our Spreaker shout-out time. Yep, it is. It's time for that. It's time to shout out to all our Spreaker followers, Spreaker podcasters. Brought to you by Spreaker, where you too can be an internet DJ like me and do this fun stuff and talk to air. Yes, it's always a fun thing to do on a Friday afternoon here on GJRB. And this is the place to do it, Spreaker. And you can listen to some great podcasters, and we got a lot of them on my Spreaker public site. Some of them have some great shows, some of them not so good. I think a lot of them are good. I like them all. Coming up next here on GJRB Online, on our GJRB here on Spreaker, will be MTFB. And they have some great music there, the MTFB Aviation Network. Got some really good DJs on there. One, his name is Zach Friller. He's fabulous. I mean, they have some great DJs on there. I listen to these guys quite a bit. They're cool. Matter of fact, I absolutely stand by their music. They are great. MTFB and Jack Friller, Zachary Baruch, I believe his name is. He's a great DJ. Does a great show, plays some great music on MTFB. He is absolutely famous. He's got a birthday coming up on July 24th, too. Check that out. That's a big celebration for him, I'm sure. And he does a show on MTFB. It's good music, too. Plays a lot of 80s. Plays a lot of Springsteen. He likes to play a lot of the same songs, too. I like his station, though. I do like MTFB. You guys are good. That's why I follow you. You play some really neat music. MTFB Radio. And I don't know exactly where they come from, but he has a great music mixed music. He was just on the air about a couple hours ago. I think he does Friday 4 to 6 Eastern Time, 3 to 5 Central Daylight. So he was on at the same time I was. So he's just been off the air probably about maybe 22 minutes or so. Something like that. No, take that back. He's been off the air about a little over a half hour. But he has a good show. He plays good music. I like to listen to this guy's show. Throws in some really good 80s stuff. And he's coming up next on our 9-foot closed circuit signal after we get done here with a little bit of great stuff. So stay with it. MTFB Network. Great stuff. They got great music. They got some great DJs too. They do. They have a Backbeat podcast. Billy Bob's Underground. I gotta listen to that one. That's pretty good. Fly for Life Radio. Got some really good hosts here. Out of My Head with Marie. She has an oldie show, Going Back in Time with Marie. So these are great variety of shows on here. Hit the Road Jack. I don't know what that is. Love Hour with Dr. Wolf, WUUF. You hear that one. Luke's Forgotten Classics. That would be something to listen to. Music to Fly By. Some of the great DJs. The Madhouse with Mike. These are the great ones. And of course, Zach Friller. These are all the great DJs you hear on MTFB. Check it out. All right, also on the air, they're here on Spreaker, is another good friend of mine. They joined me in the first hour. First, Blake Myers. He has a station on the air called Technical Difficulties. He hasn't been on the air for a while because he's running a race. Yeah, he's running a race. He's going to be in the Ragbri doing the unicycle thing. When's that coming up, anyway? he's out in the ether. If he's still listening, if you listen to this podcast, send me a message on my Facebook. Let me know how you're doing. I meant to watch your video the other night. I haven't got a chance to check them out, so I'm going to have to go on your page and watch those. Haven't had a chance to do that lately because I've been show prepping. So, I'm going to have to check that out. Anyway, I hope you're doing good. He does a great variety of music. He plays talks a little bit, talks about video games and stuff. So tune in to him. Blake Myers, Technical Difficulties. Another one that does game talking and fun stuff like that is, of course, Bob Huber and the Huber Experience. Check out Bob. Tuesday and Thursdays mostly. Does a good music show. Does play stuff. He'll play music like I do. But he does talk. He likes to talk about games. He talks about gaming, movies. I mean, this guy has a repertoire of stuff he talks about. And it gets a little racy at times. Be careful, listener discretion advised. Bob, the handyman. He doesn't call himself the handyman anymore. Bob Huber, just plain Bob Huber. The Huber Experience. And it's right here on Spreaker. And mostly on Tuesdays and Thursdays. He does 45 minutes in blocks of 15. But he packs a lot into that. So check him out. Hey, also, every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock Central Daylight Time, 8-ish, as he always says, Caramel Time, I think I said that right, is Ed Delgado, the Caramel Conservative. He had a good show the other night, by the way, Ed, if you're listening to this as a podcast. Great show. I didn't get a chance to catch you live. I was tired Tuesday night. I dozed off on my chair after I did finished up the supper stuff, and kicked back a little bit. And, so I fell asleep, and I woke up. It was like after 10. So he's over. He was way over. You only did an hour, so sorry I missed it, because I always love to join you live. But he does a good show. Ed Delgado, the Caramel Conservative, every Tuesday night, 8 o'clock Central Daylight, 6 o'clock Pacific, right here on Spreaker. And I gotta tell you, we gotta mention, and I always like to mention him every time I'm on the air, because with Ed, he mentions me and he gives me a plug, and that's why I like to give him a plug every show. And the other one is my friend Mike Myers. Yes, the Radio Hope Network. And he has a great show every morning, 7 mornings a week, 8 o'clock a.m. Central Daylight. The other 8 o'clock, 12 hours earlier than Ed. But he does a good show. 8 o'clock in the morning, Monday through Sunday, right here on Spreaker. Talks about the Lord, talks about inspiration, talks about love, talks about all kinds of stuff, and plays great music too. Mike Myers Show, Radio Hope Network. You can catch his show on other places too, including his very own streaming radio station, and that is on TuneIn. And check that out, TuneIn, and you can listen to his program. He has a great show, and that's the Radio Hope. He's got other great programs on TuneIn, including one of the other fabulous podcasters on here, and that is Gary Eaches Peaches, and from Scranton. He has that on there. He has great Christian programming. Check it out. Tune in, and that's free. Tune in is free. All you have to do is just type in Muck Radio, MUKRADIO, and you can hear Mike do his show on there live too, if you don't have internet or Spreaker. But if you have TuneIn, you can listen to his show. But I advise you check out here on Spreaker and join in the chat room, because it's always fun when Mike's on. It really is. And I love listening to him. Mike Myers in the Radio Hope Network. And, of course, other great people that I didn't mention that deserves it is the Belly Blast. Yes, he is fabulous, too. Always great commentary. I liked his last podcast. Very good. And that is John out of Houston, Texas. And that is our Big Fat Soft Underbelly. Tune in. He packs a punch, tells it like it is, and really does. And of course, in that same state of Texas, just a little bit up from Houston, is Black Dragons Radio. And that's BJ. And he plays some great 80s stuff. He's taking some time off. But he'll be back in the fall. And he's going to play some more great music for you in the fall from LaPorte, Texas. So check all those shows out. We're going to find all those? All you have to do is get on my Spreaker Public site. And there are 2 ways of doing that. Many ways of doing that. You can Google search it all you want. It's there. I'm on Google. And I'm also on Spotify. And you can check it out on Twitter. I am the Radio Maniac. When you type in that in there, it should come up with GJRB Online and the Antique Radio next to it. You can listen to this show right in there. And when you hit that widget, it'll open up. You can listen to the show there, get in the chat room there. And that's on Twitter. And it'll take you right to the public site. Same with Facebook. But if you are a Twitter listener, you can get in there and go into followers, and you'll see the whole list of all of them on there. They're all there, every single one of them. Got all the great followers that I mentioned, and also including some of the other ones that I mentioned tonight. One of the other ones, Jimmy Church. He does. He fills in for George Nori quite a bit on Coast to Coast, but he has another show on here called Fade to Black. Absolutely fabulous show. Catches my interest. Piques me. It's fabulous. Tune in to Fade to Black, and I think it's on earlier in the evening. I'm not sure what time that comes on. 8 o'clock, maybe 10. I don't know exactly. I'll check that. But he has a great show. Talks a lot about weird stuff too. And I got a lot of Beyond the Strange. Eric Cooper, who hasn't been on for a while. And at 11:06 Central Daylight Time, 9:06 Pacific, right here on Spreaker. And tonight on the air from British Columbia, Canada, Spaced Out Radio with David Scott. Tonight at 11:06 right here on Spreaker. Talks a lot about strange stuff. He has interesting guests. His website's up. As a matter of fact, I looked at that website the other day. It's fabulous. It looks real nice. They improved it, kind of tweaked it a little bit, made it look a lot nicer. Absolutely fabulous website. So good job there. Good job. They do a real good job with that show. It's on tonight, 11:06 Central Daylight. You can also catch that show on many affiliated stations on TuneIn, like the Ridgecrest, California station. Believe it or not, Ridgecrest, California, which have those earthquakes, and they're still streaming their radio station on TuneIn. It's like, wow. I would have thought they would have been off the air because of the earthquakes down up in Ridgecrest. I would have thought, especially that 7.1 tumbler would have knocked them off the air. But there they are. Z93.7 KZFX out of Ridgecrest, California was still broadcasting on TuneIn despite the earthquake. Wow. Absolutely fabulous. And they broadcast David Scott right on there on TuneIn. So look for that. That's Z93.7 KZFX out of Ridgecrest, California. And that is our shout-outs. And, of course, if you want to be part of the shout-outs, all you got to do is broadcast on Spreaker. And if you have a real good podcast, more than likely I'll mention you, especially if I've listened already. Yeah, I will definitely mention you. And what time you're on. So let me know what kind of podcast you have, what time you're on the air, and I'll put it on our show. I'll talk about it, let people know you're on. That's Spreaker. And all you got to do is just sign up for it. It's SPREAKER. Gives you a free 15 minutes. You get 15 minutes for free. You could broadcast for 15 minutes for free. That's not bad. Free speech plan. But they get some pretty good deals once in a while on their stuff. I'm waiting on the upgrade, on the discount for the broadcaster upgrade. That's what I'm waiting for. But there are other great upgrades on here, so check it out. Spreaker, Spreaker, Speaker spelled wrong on purpose. Spreaker and broadcast to the world. GJRB Online, Gary J. Russen with you here, and we got about 16 minutes left of the show for tonight. I want to thank you, everyone, for tuning in to the program, and I always enjoy bringing you this program here on GJRB Online, and this is where it happens. This is where, a lot of the programs that you find on here. I'm always glad when I get listeners. I'm always happy with that. Just that that you're out there, that you're tuning in, and thank you so much for tuning in to the Gary Russen program. And tomorrow afternoon, by the way, while we're thinking about it, let's talk about what we got coming up on GJRB Online. Tomorrow afternoon, we'll be back on the air at 3 o'clock Central Time, 4 o'clock Eastern, and 1 o'clock Pacific for another Gary Russen program, and it's the Saturday Extra. And with me tomorrow is Ben Osman. We're going to talk about a lot of things in the news. We didn't really get a touch on that story, but I'll do it tomorrow, about the sinkhole, the huge one in McKnight Road in Pittsburgh. And I was looking at the video to this thing. It's huge. And, wow, I mean, I'm talking about big. No joke. Wow, we're going to talk about that. And a huge explosion. I thought this was interesting. A huge explosion at a Kentucky Fried Chicken in North Carolina. Oh, man, you got to see this thing. Blown to pieces overnight. It's like, wow. I mean, nothing left of it but pieces of buildings scattered all over the place. I mean, this was huge. And I'm looking at the video footage of this. I don't know if it's got any audio narration, but I'm going to see. Not sure if it does or not. But we'll talk about this tomorrow. I'll get details on this. KFC in North Carolina was just blown to pieces. And their authorities are investigating it right now, the cause of the explosion. This was in Rockingham, North Carolina. And it's a mess for them to clean up, and they'll probably rebuild, I'm sure, because it's a franchise of the Kentucky Fried Chicken. No one was hurt, but the blast almost damaged several neighboring businesses. I mean, this was a pretty strong blast, and I can't get the video, and I don't even know if it has a description. All you see is what I'm seeing here. It's a silent video aerial view from a helicopter, and there's nothing left of it. It's just foundation. It's just pieces of building. So you can imagine that they're probably going to, they're investigating, authorities are investigating the damage there caused by that explosion. KFC blown to pieces. Wow. And a borderline agent said he had enough of AOC's lies and misconceptions over the immigration thing. Check this out.
Good afternoon. My name is Roy Villarreal. I am the Chief Patrol Agent for the Tucson Border Patrol Sector. Today is July 3rd. My goal today is to dispel some of the misinformation that's out there in regards to our detention facilities. So come with me. This is a supply room that is typical in every one of the stations in Tucson Sector. What we have supplies of are diapers, baby wipes, clothing for children, marked by gender, age, clothing for men and women. We've got supplies. These are feminine hygiene products that are readily available for any of the detainees. Now come with me as we go into one of our detention cells.
Okay, he's showing you video of the detention cells and detention centers for the illegals at the border. This is a border agent talking
What's here in front of me is a supply cart that is available to families.
And it's more visual than anything else. So I will post it for some of my Facebook listeners, or I will put it on the Twitter. But it just tells you how, that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Ocho Stigos, is just, creating an issue where there isn't, because that's what actors do. When they're acting the part of a congresswoman, we gotta make it dramatic. Just that simple. And that's all she's doing is acting the part, and doing it quite well. I also hear this story, and of course I had to talk about this young lady that was like about 8 years old. In fact, Ed Delgado talked about this on Tuesday night's show. I like the way he said it too, I mean, really, the fact that she had death threats, this young lady stopped the videos because of it, and now, she had death threats. This 8-year-old girl who's doing a video looking just like AOC, and she received death threats for the videos that she was making, of course, by the Communist Left-Wing Party, most likely. Yeah, you have to wonder about that one. Yeah. So we'll talk about that some more tomorrow. Also, like I said, we're going to have Ben on tomorrow, so I hope you'll tune into that show. We're going to have him on live, and probably in the second hour, I'm thinking. Usually we try to get a hold of him in the second hour. Usually my first hour, I kind of see what's going on in the news, try to cover some of the stories I didn't get today, or get to today, but I got a majority of them in, which is pretty good for me, for an average 3-hour show, broken up into 45-minute segments. I do pretty good for it. And I think that it turned out pretty interesting today. I actually got the 2 o'clock second hour in without really stopping all that much. So that was pretty darn good. I don't know if I could do that again or not. I have the notes here on how I did it, but can't guarantee I'll be able to do it tomorrow. I'm going to try. Let's see. Probably with one break at the half-hour mark. Might be able to conquer that. We'll see how that works. Anyway, tomorrow afternoon, right here on GJRB Online with Ben Osman, and it should be a good show. And he always is when he's on. And we want to talk about that sinkhole in the North Hills. We're going to talk about AOC, of course. Talk about the immigration issue. We'll talk about all kinds of stuff tomorrow. So tune in live, 3 o'clock Central Time, right here for the Gary Russen program, Saturday Extra, right here on GJRB Online. Coming up, I got some music shows for you. As I told you before, we're doing that new schedule, the color-coded schedule. And I was kind of frustrated in the first hour, and I kind of said I was going to cut the shows down. I was not going to do this, but I'm still going to do the color-coded schedule. But if it, and see how this all works out and how it pans out. But I'm thinking about picking some of my best GJRB programs and eliminating what doesn't fit, because right at this point, finding out that some of the shows I can't do because I just don't, have time to whittle around with all those programs. The Radio Land shows will stay. The Gary Russen program shows will stay. And, of course, my crooners and radio, television, movie classics are going to stay. But on down the line, we're going to whittle it way down to like about 10 to 12 shows, maybe 20 at best. And the rest are going to go in, into the garbage can, with Oscar. So we'll just see how that all works out. Next week, though, let's see. I got some things that I'm going to be doing next week. I have to finish off that video for the schedule, so I got to get that done. I have a few other things I want to wrap up, and I'm working on the playlist for Up and Coming, which I'm going to do, I'm thinking probably toward the end of the month, because I don't know if I'll have time to do it next week. So Up and Coming is going to get delayed just a little bit, but we're going to have it on, I said this month, so we're going to get Up and Coming on the air, the first show, and get all these new emerging artists in there. So I'm working on a playlist for that. I already finished up my format wheel for it. So I'm writing it down anyway. I haven't really made the format wheel yet for it, but I'm getting to that. And I have some other programs that I'm working on. I have the wrap-up of this next episode of Way Out There. So that's coming up. Probably I'm going to shoot for next Friday. Way Out There. I'll have the last 7 days on at 1 o'clock, depending on the length of that program. And then right after that, Way Out There. So I hope you'll tune in next week right here on GJRB Online for the strange, the bizarre, the unusual. Way Out There. And I got a great show lined up in the next part in our series on technocracy and our series on the afterlife and hell. We're going to continue talking about that one, and we're going to get into some other things. We've got strange and bizarre, unusual stuff. Some new stories breaking since I wrote that show, which I'm going to change some of my strange but true stories at the beginning. One is some of the UFO sighting, I think, recently. I don't know what day was that. Anyway, there's another story that I wanted to replace something with. I couldn't remember what it was, so I'll have to look in there. I usually check the two sources, some of my good ones, and that's my friend Spaced Out Radio and Coast to Coast AM, and find some updated Strange But True. But other than that, we'll probably put those in like the last hour of that show. And I'll be talking about the future of Way Out There. I got some guests planned for that show, so we'll be talking about that on tomorrow's show a little bit toward the end, letting you know what we got coming up on the radio here on GJRB Online here on Spreaker. But until then, I'm going to say that's it for our edition of the Gary Russen program. Freestyle Friday edition. That's going to close it out for today. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the program. We'll be back again tomorrow, 3 o'clock Central Time, for another edition of the Gary Russen program, this Saturday Extra with Ben Osman. Until then, have your best rest of your night. We'll talk to you tomorrow. So long, everyone. This is the GJRB Online Network.